Patrick's Garage. On Volvos equipped with manual transmission, the clutch pedal must be correctly adjusted. But here we see too much free play. You see, the pedal can be depressed too much before it begins to have any effects to the clutch. And look at this noise. Shifting inappropriate. We can damage gearbox this way. Clutch cable not works correctly. It should be adjusted or replaced. And as always, first of all, disconnect the negative cable from the battery. Here, through a firewall, cable goes to the pedals. I added additional gaskets last time. And we need to remove this panel under the dashboard, obviously to get working access. And here you see old cable. It was restored, maybe by previous owners, and my plan to using this. WD-40 very helpful for unscrewing old rusty nuts. We sprayed it and little weight. These dust protective rubber covers can't last forever. All wears out with the edges. And we see in some point of time this cable was restored, maybe by previous owner. So we hope this work was done correctly. But if it's not so good as we think, there is too much crap can go wrong inside. So how to unscrew these adjusting rusty nuts and not damage the thread? Maybe wiggling a little. Yes, it's enjoyable process when we have a new cable for replacing. But with the age, these cables can get very crappy for repair. But we're not gonna have to pay for. And now it's important for me. Loosen the cable housing nuts, and we can continue unscrewing by fingers. And during this process, not forget to unhook the return spring for release lever. Only after we loosening these nuts we can disconnect our cable from clutch fork, from release arm if you want. So we remove clutch cable from the release arm, and now we remove it from the cable bracket. I added these wires for additional protection in less time, but now not needless for them. A lot of graphite grease was applied a year ago. They used to make great clutch cables in olden days. And here we ensure that all wires from cable in its place and not turn. Only one fastening clamp under the brakes booster. We have only securing clamp, so we're lucky enough that we have left-hand drive car. Under the covering, under the dashboard, we see pedals. Yes, for more convenience, for more access, we can remove clutch pedal, this bolt securing. And we remember where all parts was. Not confused when we put these parts into its place. And we see that clutch pedal itself worn. There should be a little grease and piece of rubber on the pedal stop. Do not hit to the pedal stop too much. Pedal little wiggling so the bolt not secured enough. Or maybe inside bushings worn. It's old pedal, realize that. But it does work, not so good maybe. So we get our bolt and look at the bushings inside. So big play inside we see. And spring, remember its position. Here should be grease. And we see this gap was worn too much insofar as I'm concerned. In this socket, the size of nut, which under the pedal, we can put it in onto the nut, but we can't rotate this. So we need wrench, obviously. And this inside nut holding the clutch cable to the firewall. And we remove this nut. And you see condition of our cable. Here you see half-inch bolt, and we can get to it only with wrench. And little by little we unscrew it. But by the way, you can find a lot of clamps on the way of the cable if you have right-hand drive car. And here you see cause the root of our problem. Yes, cables a little differs, but they are of course interchangeable. Here we see influence of hard work always out with the edges. Now you know my clutch pressure plate and clutch disc bugbear like in olden days. So after cable replacing, it can work as the day it was made. Cable rubbing inside all the time. So cable way should be clean inside. And I remember here was rust. And here was rust because window leaks. And maybe you noticed clutch pedal making noises because as it moves back, it hits to the pedal stop. And here it's rubbing and worn. So here we need to add a little grease, so it not making noise. All these parts rubbing down inside. Anyway, crappy design. I'm assuming they do so for a cost purposes, obviously. They just want cut costs, but it's not so dependable. Now we install our clutch cable onto the cable bracket. We can do all these procedures lying on the ground. So we install our clutch cable onto the cable bracket. We adjust these nuts later. You can watch my video about this process. Not forget about this nut before we connect our cable with release arm. So we connect our cable with release arm and we put our cable holder onto its place. A lot of them on right-hand drive car. You see rubber sleeve absent. And first we hook our cable for the pedal. More convenience, do it before we put the pedal onto its place. After that, we install our cable onto the cable bracket. I can say that there are a lot of flaws of this system. We need to add grease for a clutch pedal. Maybe put a piece of rubber hose to the clutch pedal stop. Maybe weird noise goes out. Now we're incapable doing some improvements. We just replacing cable. Dust cover should be in good condition. Hey look, it works. Grease gets dirty over time. And we'll get more friction from dirt. Will be better to add a little grease at this ball, so we don't anticipate any trouble with our clutch in the future. And for the meantime, we're going to get our clutch cable ready for adjusting. And if you're curious, you can watch my video about clutch cable adjusting. And we tighten our nuts only after full adjusting. There is holder bracket for holding our cable on the engine compartment. Here, half-inch bolt. It goes through our diagonal longeron with thread. It's not simple screw. This is bolt with thread. Half-inch spanner you need. Not so good access, but we can walk. So you can let me know in the comments down below which type of clutch you prefer. Hydraulic or clutch cable. I'm really interested in your point of view about this. But from my experience, all this system wears out. And each of these systems can last longer if we take care of them. So I know if the fluid goes out, hydraulic system can't work. So if you're curious, you can watch my another video about clutch cable adjusting. Thanks for watching. And please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate it.